Hello, this is Brendan Miller, CBS News anchor, reporting here on the Attica prison riots of 1971. 1971, a year stemming out of the 60s, that was anything but calm, especially in Attica, New York. Attica, New York is a small village with a small population, but located inside the village is Attica Correctional Facility. Attica Correctional Facility, unlike the average prison, is a maximum security prison, and there's no messing around there. And so it went. On a calm morning on September 9th, 1971, the inmates within the prison got lined up for roll call. Upon lining up for roll call, inmates realized that one of their friends had gotten in trouble and was stuck isolated in his cell for the upcoming breakfast. 5 of the isolated inmates' friends realized that he was stuck in the cell. They protested this and freed their friend from the cell. Once free, together they all went to breakfast until they were recognized for what they did. As a punishment, they were led back to their cells after breakfast instead of recess. The prisoners quickly realized that they were being headed back to their cells after breakfast. They protested this and became angry. They even assaulted the officer leading them back to their cells. This led to the riot beginning. The inmates quickly took many civilians and prisoner employees hostage. They also secured control of various parts of the prison. It was at this point in time that the inmates began demanding negotiations. They were asking demands such as better living conditions. One of the astounding facts of the negotiations was the cooperation between the inmates during the time. The leadership and organization they had was great. The inmates ended up making a list of 27 demands called the Attica Liberation Faction Manifesto of Demands. The demands that the inmates concluded within the list included topics such as better medical treatment, fair visitation rights, and a stop to physical brutality. The problem for the inmates was that it became clear that their demands were not being taken seriously. They became anxious, moods turned ugly, and it became very hostile. Once negotiations began to break down, the governor of New York, Nelson Rockefeller, ordered Attica to be taken by force. And so it was that on the morning of September 13th, tear gas was dropped over the prison, and the state troopers began to open fire. When the fighting came to a close, there was a great toll. 10 hostages and 29 inmates had been killed by police gunfire. 80 people were seriously injured as well. In conclusion, the prison was taken back under control. Investigations took place over the riots. 60 inmates were indicted. 8 became convicted. Eventually, a lawsuit was filed by those involved with the riots, and was not settled until the year 2000, about 30 years later. In settling this lawsuit, money was promised to the surviving inmates and employees of Attica. Since the riot had ended, songs, movies, and even TV shows have featured the notorious, most bloody prison riot of all time. This is Brendan Miller. Have a nice day.